Hi there, Nathalie with you today to show you a fun idea on how to create faux watercolor using your pigment inks for your next project. So come join me. Hi there and welcome to a new episode of Inspired by a Card with Nathalie. Today I am going to show you a fun and easy technique to cheat or to create faux watercolor for your next project. And I really love this card from Rosie Newstatter. This is from the latest blog up and I love the effect that she created on the background. So I'm going to show you a similar idea, but I want to bring more of a rainbow look to this. So I'm going to start by choosing my inks. I'm going to use Pigment Inks for this, and then I'm going to choose paper. I'm going with Vicky Boots in foundation paper. This paper is really heavy, but mostly it has a coating, which means my ink is going to remain wet a little bit longer, which is what I need to create the effect. Now I've already cut my paper to size. I'm going to create a layout for my traveler's notebook, my little album, and that's 5 inches wide by 8 1/4 in height. You're gonna see that I'm using a little bit of masking to mask two areas in my paper. On the left hand side, I'm gonna create a column 1 inch from the left hand side of the page, and on the right I'm gonna mask the area so that I have a column from the right edge towards 1 1/4, 1 1/8 I think, sorry, from the edge. All I'm going to do right now is I'm going to bring my pigment inks. I'm going to start rubbing the inks onto the cardstock. I'm going to use, I'm going to create like kind of a rainbow, soft effect. With whatever I have, I've tried that my best. I started with Warm Sunshine, then I'm going to go with Coral Berry. You're going to see that I'm going to do the opposite on the pages. So I'm starting on the left with Warm Sunshine and then going into Coral Berry, and I'm going to do the opposite. So I'm going to go at the bottom with Sunshine and then go way up on the right, and then I'm gonna work the colors from the top, from warm to cool on the left, and from cool to warm on the right. That's the best way to describe it. So I use, like I said before, Warm Sunshine, Coral Berry. I went into Grapevine because I wanted to bring some of that purple tone. I'm gonna use some blue after that. I'm going to use Arctic just to create that combination or that transition between blue and green, and then I'm going to use Frayed leaf to finish my page. So I'm going to say kind of a modified rainbow, but it's going to give me the rainbow effect. Now here's the key. You have to work pretty much like really fast. So I am adding some water. The ink, like I said before, I chose my paper because my paper has a coating, so my ink is still fresh. And then when I apply the water, it's just gonna activate the ink, kind of diluted. So I'm gonna use one of my acrylic blocks just to help me move the liquid on top of the ink and create the faux effect, the faux watercolor effect. So you're gonna see that in between when I put my my acrylic block, my apologies on that, on top of the paper, I kind of wobble it a little bit and then I clean it up on a piece of paper towel. That is going to prevent for me to creating mud. I want to have a soft transition of the colors, but I need to clean in between so that I don't have like an extreme cross contamination of the colors that can result in like a really unsightly or a brown tone, which we call mud. So I'm just going to careful work through that. You're going to see that I'm adding water. That's just going to activate the ink in a way diluted, and then I'm helping to create that movement with my acrylic block. And then what I'm going to do, you're going to see that I'm going to add a little bit more water. I want to create that bleach effect on the background, but then I'm going to soak it up with a piece of paper towel. Once I have that, I'm going to let it dry for a little bit just because I added water. I'm going to peel the masking tape, and then I'm going to come in with my heat gun, because remember, Altenew's Pigment Inks set completely but they say completely, they won't move once you heat them up. So I'm gonna do that, but before I do that, and the reason why I peel my masking tape is because I want to add some splatters. I want to have that organic look, and because I added the bleach effect onto the watercolor, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and actually stamp some of the inks into my acrylic block. I'm gonna add a little bit of water so that it dilutes, and then I'm gonna use one of my paint brushes just to add splatters, coordinating color of ink to the coordinating block of watercolor that I create. Once I have that, I'm gonna heat it with my heat gun and I'm ready to go. So one of the things that I also love about Rosie's card is that she used the new Always Be Kind stamp set, and I love the movement on it, the fact that it's tall and it has a little bit of movement. So I'm gonna use it for my background too, for the background of this page. I'm gonna use Obsidian black ink to stamp it onto my page, and you're gonna see that here I'm gonna mess up a little bit just because my dog happened to walk right next to me and push my arm, and you know, so there's a little bit of movement, which is okay because that's where my picture is gonna sit anyways. And then what I'm gonna do is I wanna kind of extend the look of the stamp, so I'm gonna stamp the image again. I'm gonna say a little bit towards the right to what I just did, so just gonna give you the idea that you have this branch coming up, and then I'm gonna stamp the image again twice on the right hand side of the edge, kind of coming off the page. So once I have that, and I'm gonna set it aside to dry, I'm gonna work on the picture. I'm gonna back the picture with a piece of paper from the Enjoy the Ride collection, from the 6x6 paper pad. Once I have that, I have to create a title. I'm gonna use the coordinating Be Kind die set to cut the word B out of it, and then I'm gonna use the Mega U die to cut the word U. I'm gonna use actually glitter cardstock to create the word B and U. I'm gonna use the diamond one for like white for the B, and I want gold for the U. So I created the back end of my the Be Kind out of white cardstock, and I add a little bit of Altenew's double-sided tape behind it, double-sided adhesive paper, sorry, so that I just can peel and stick, and it's really easy for me to create the die cuts. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna trim the excess underneath the B. I just want the word B, and then I'm gonna glue it right on top of the word U, right next to the flowers on the right hand side of the panel. I'm gonna take advantage of more of the sentiments that come in the Always Be Kind stamp set to kind of add sentiment to my title. This picture is all about my daughter, who literally, it's like hot and cold. She can go from being happy to being like, you know, sad in 1 second, from being like wide awake to be like out sleep within seconds. So I wanted to document that. Now I'm bringing a few more embellishments to this page. I'm gonna bring some die cuts from the Wildflower collection. I'm gonna also bring some die cuts from Enjoy the Ride. I'm also bring some die cuts from Live Your Dream. So I play with quite a bit of ephemera for this. And then another thing that I actually liked out of Rosie's card is that she used enamel dots just to emphasize the color contrast on the page. So I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna bring quite my collection of Altenew enamel dots and just sprinkle them, kind of color blocking to my background, which means I'm gonna add the different colors based on where they land on my page. So yellow on yellow, pink on pink, and so on. Once I have that, I'm gonna use my Altenew fine liners to add my lines of journal right underneath the title. I have that space, but I don't want to, like, I'm not enough outside of the camera, but that's about it. I love how this turned out. I love the fact that you can easily create watercolor or the look of watercolor just with the pigment inks and a little bit of water. So I hope you try it. As always, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Hello crafters, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Thanks for watching!